Hi, Recovery Girls. I'm Lynn. I was thinking today as I was getting ready about why or what life was like when I was in the throes of my addictive personality. I've read a lot about this, and I just had been thinking about my personal experience with my addictive personality. You know, I didn't just stick to one type of addiction. I've experimented with many. And so I started thinking about, we'll take alcohol, for instance. I used to say that my best friends were named Margarita, Corona, and Sailor Jerry. And depending on my mood, I would choose my best friend based on that mood. If I wanted something hard, I would hang out with Sailor Jerry. If I was feeling just kind of mellow, I might hang out with Corona. Anyway, I had this relationship with things or a substance. I also can see in friends of mine that are in recovery that have relationships with food. They develop a relationship with gambling, pornography, shoplifting even. Some people are addicted to shoplifting. Some people are addicted to work. And all of that, we create a relationship with those things because they alter our mood. They help us in our search for wholeness and happiness. And I think so the bottom line for me was that search of something that would make me feel whole. Now the irony is I grew up in a Christian home. I would have considered myself a very serious and strong Christian at the time that I was acting out. But I don't know that I know now that I had not truly surrendered my life to God. I thought I had, but my addictive personality was so strong because the power that came with those mood alterations of feeling like I was in control, that I had my own destiny in my hands, was so alluring. And so there's this unchecked type of power that happens when we're living within our addictive behavior. And we do, for a time, we feel complete, we feel whole. And for a time, we will feel happy. And so when that wears off, of course, we do those things again to try to build up the idea, or try to build up that mood again, and to gain power back. Be in control of ourselves, even though we are completely out of control. So the addict starts to trust in this thing or these behaviors, and it is a false relationship and a false trust, and we become dependent on that for our fulfillment until we enter recovery. And this is where God saved me. I didn't even know that in my powerlessness of this cycle of doing these behaviors again that I was being completely saved. It wasn't until I walked into a recovery meeting that I was able to fully understand, and it didn't happen overnight, but fully understand over time that those things that I was putting my time and trust into were never going to fulfill me, ever. And so once I started step one of realizing that my life I had become powerless over alcohol or over my addictive behavior, over checking emails of my spouse because I was so codependent. If I wasn't being treated right then by him, then I couldn't possibly be whole. And so when all of that started to spiral out of control, I could finally reach the bottom of myself and realize that those were giving me a false sense of fulfillment, and that wholeness and happiness were not going to come from those objects. They were going to come from a relationship within myself, but more importantly with God. And it was only God who could restore me. And so I pray that you will realize your false relationships. What are those false relationships? What behaviors are you putting so much energy into to try to find wholeness and happiness? And I pray that you'd come to recovery to find that your higher power is all for you, and that you'd turn your life and your will over to Him, and then watch for the miracles.